Welcome, everyone. So glad you guys are here and joining us. I cannot wait for us to talk about this topic. I have Elena Mutonono here with me, and she is another incredible coach, you guys, a coach who helps tutors that are looking for ways to be able to get found. And she invited me to be a part of her conference next week. So you're going to get to learn more about that conference. But she's going to be specifically sharing today 3 mistakes that online teachers make when they share content online. So stay tuned, you guys. Hey, hey. So here we are. We are back with Elena. And I know you guys want to know a little bit more about who she is. So I'm going to let Elena share all about who she is, what she does, and who she serves and how she serves them. Elena, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Hey everyone, and Joanne, thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited to be here today and sharing with you. So, as Joanne has mentioned, I coach online teachers, specifically online language teachers who work one-on-one, and I help them to move away from the exhausting one-to-one classes and get to a point where their business is sustainable and profitable, whether by creating courses or programs or something that does not require them to be in front of the screen all the time. Yes, and I am formerly an ESL teacher myself. I first taught in Ukraine. This is my home country. Now I'm in the US, which is my second home country now after the last 14 years. Um, and I am teaching and coaching teachers, and I am here to talk about the summit that I put together once a year in May, and Joanne is going to be a part of it too.
Ooh, so excited. Yes. So you guys are gonna have to stay tuned so you can hear more about this because it's such a unique way that Elena really delivers the content and you guys are gonna want to stay tuned so that you can learn more. But I know people want to know, like this is one of the biggest things that people want to know when it comes to sharing content online. A lot of people think that sharing the content online is let me tell people that I have 5 spots open in order for my tutoring services to happen. Or,
Yeah.
we're enrolling for our summer sessions now. You know,
hmm
and that's what they think that the marketing is. What are 3 mistakes that you see online tutors making when they share their content?
Okay, so the first mistake, and the reason why we're talking about it today, by the way, is because the focus of the Online Teacher Summit, which changes every year, this year is on how to create content that brings you clients. And if you are listening to this, you're here, you probably know that the I've got 5 spots open doesn't work very well. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So we are looking at different ways of creating content that builds your community and loyalty, allows you to sell courses and programs and so forth. I first wanted to mention that when you start teaching one-on-one and or tutoring, it's very easy to get into the comfortable state of people referring you by word of mouth. And it's really great in the beginning, and it helped me grow my business. The first time in 6 months, I was booked out because everybody was recommending and it was easy. But the downside of this comfort is that I did not know how to share content online. I couldn't imagine. And because it was hard, because it is hard, I mean, and because it was hard and I had to learn how to do it, I was like, oh no, word of mouth is the best. I'm just going to stick with this. The problem came when I tried to create a course and sell it, and I couldn't do it because I was still relying on one-on-one. And my thought was, oh, all of these students are going to tell their friends and they will tell their friends. What I didn't realize is I was like putting the burden of marketing onto my students, and I was not hiring them to do that. I mean, I was grateful when they recommended me. So when teachers go out and they're like, okay, I want to build a business and I want to have a presence online, whether it is through a podcast that you're creating or YouTube channel or maybe social media, uh, the first thing that teachers do, usually they think with sort of teacher's cap and they feel like if I put my logo out there, then I'm going to look legit and people will trust me more
Mm.
online. And so that is mistake number one that I see a lot of teachers make. Sometimes I go to Instagram pages where it says, handle best English lessons, for example. I don't even know the name of the person if I wanted to book a lesson with them. So they would have like, just one line or like, English for everybody type of thing. And then they have a logo instead of the face. And then they don't have a name. And so even if I wanted to approach them, I mean, I could say, hello, school, how are you doing? And of course, I understand. And I did that in the beginning. I also had a logo and I was behind the logo. And I thought it gave me more credibility, but what it was actually doing was hiding me. And then I would get really resentful because there were all these big companies that somehow got tons of clients. At least that's what I perceived.
Well, that's
But
because
I
they
did
also
not
have
realize.
money. They have a marketing budget, those bigger
Exactly.
clients, all right? We don't.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't. We don't.
Mhm.
So, but we want to copy that like blindly, but it doesn't work. And
Mhm.
so the first mistake then that I see is, okay, I'm going to work on the logo. And that's actually the first busy task that teachers do. Like,
Mhm.
oh, I want a business. Let me start with a logo. And then go months and months of creating logo, working on brand colors, creating a
Business
website.
cards.
I know, seriously.
Mm.
Yeah, been there, done that. So when you do that, when you go online, put your face out there. And I know it can be scary in the beginning, and you will want to even make the avatar or something, but it won't work. Like what you want to do, because you are a business of one person initially, you want to put your face out there. And that is the first thing that teachers don't do. And then they get really frustrated because, like, for example, my posts never got any traction back in the day when I just started and I started teaching ESL in 2010. And I had enough clients, but I wanted to to reach more people. And I couldn't do that through social media for a number of years. And now I look back and I see, oh, it was because I was just the name of a company and a logo.
Yeah, I put all of my time and my effort into the wrong actions, right?
Right, 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 right.
I'm using them improperly on the channels that are supposed to be about being social and
Right.
socializing and people getting to know
Yeah,
people, and I'm putting this professional front on that doesn't even exist. A
yeah,
lot of times we put, like, "we" or whatever
yeah.
on there. There is no
Exactly. We,
"we."
yes.
It's me,
Yeah.
it's I. I do everything in my business, right? Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and so, yeah, it's giving the wrong thing. People don't realize that they get to choose you. Like, that's the biggest
Mm.
asset
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
own is they're like, "Oh, I get to work with you?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's
Mm.
cool. Like, you're not
Yeah.
gonna tell me who to work with?"
Mm.
They love that when we're small like that.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yes. Yes, it is true. And that's actually our biggest asset, like compared to a big company, because big company is faceless,
Mhm.
and you can't go and you can't really, if you're having complaint, you can't really connect or correct it, right? If somebody writes to me and says, hey, there's this bug on your website, then I have to get it fixed. And I do get it fixed. When I call a big company, even here in the US, and I'm like, hey, I've got a complaint about blah, blah, blah. Well, the person that is sitting on the phone, they don't care. Like whoever is going to fix it, whenever they fix it. Right now it's working okay, then let it be.
Mhm.
So yeah, so there is a lot of benefit in this approachability, right? Where you proximity, where you can actually write and connect with the person. And it's not going to be like that forever, by the way. If you're starting to grow, then you will have to put systems in place for what, so you don't just like constantly inundated with DMs. But in the beginning, it's good. And a lot of times teachers do not show their face or do not show that they're approachable because they're afraid, oh, my DMs are going to be flooded. Well, it will be a while before they get flooded. So, but right now, use that opportunity to really connect. You don't need to have everything automated in the beginning. A lot of
Yes.
teachers spend a ton of time trying to automate every single process when they only have like 5 people,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really serve them at that
Right.
point.
Right.
So that's the first thing. The second thing for me is what I've also seen is not always do teachers talk about what they do in an engaging way. Like to show, the post that says, hey, I've got 5 spots open. That's not necessarily how you talk about your services. And you want to talk about your services, of course, but you also want your personality. So you show your personality. Sometimes the other side of it, like where teachers are, oh wow, I can connect and I'm having so much fun. And they do so much of it that they forget that they also have services, and they feel like as long as I'm there and I'm approachable and I'm sharing all this information, people are going to contact me and they will know that I'm giving lessons or I'm coaching or I'm open for tutoring. And sometimes we feel like, oh, I don't want to be too salesy, or I don't want to be too in people's face. I just want to be approachable and I want to show what I know. But it was interesting for me. One of my clients a couple of years ago, she was just like really sharing about, the language that she was teaching, plus, living in the country. She wanted people to the country. And it was a beautiful account. She had like lots of engagement, and then but she was not showing that what she actually was doing was teaching. And so she's like, I can't find clients. I was like, well, have you tried using your Instagram account and actually talking about the services that you provide? And she did, and all of a sudden she had clients. So I was like, yeah, I mean, we think that people should just expect that because we're on Instagram and because we have a bio that says, this is my business, that people will automatically say, hey, knock, knock. I want to work with you. I mean,
Hmm.
some people will do, but most of the time they won't. In this case, if you have a lot of engagement account, it's not a given that people will know that you are looking for business or you're looking for
Right.
clients. So do not forget that this is also part of your job and it's
Yeah.
okay. The reframing your thinking from, well, I really don't want to sound salesy too. This is my opportunity to help. And when you're able to help people, you can change the, learn language or learn how to read and all other things. You can only do that and provide this value if other people are invested in it. And so you want to talk about how they can work with you. Otherwise, if you're just like sharing, your life and a little bit of here and there, then you can go away to the other side and forget that I'm running a business, I also need to make offers, I need to
Yeah.
tell people this is what I'm doing.
A clear
So
call to action.
yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. And
So
whatever it
pivotal.
is, yes. And whatever it is, it can be, signing up for the newsletter or joining this event or whatever, but it has to be consistent. So people know that you're not just here like showing your morning coffee, which is great when you show it. Okay. But you also want to, yeah, have a specific call to action.
Yeah.
And the third thing, it just kind of flows from this, is to think about the journey of the person that is watching your content or consuming your content. So what is the next step you want them to take? Most of the time people are like, well, I just want them to sign up to work with me, and some of them will be ready to do it, but not all. So what is this intermediary step? What is the small step? Working with you is like a big step, but what is the small step? Maybe signing up for a newsletter could be one, and it's a great step to take. So tell them about it, invite them to do that as well. And then in a different way. So people may know you on Instagram, but they also receive your newsletter. So then it's different ways that you can
Mhm.
reach your audience and talk with your audience. And there's no telling at which point this person who follows you on Instagram is going to say, yeah, I want to work with you. And so the more tools, the more vehicles you use, right, to reach the person, the better. Because what you can say in a video, you can say in a newsletter and vice versa. So it's good. And right now, I know sometimes people are like, well, I don't want the newsletter because I don't want to overwhelm people's inboxes and all that. That again is a mindset shift that has to
Mhm.
happen. Because if we want to help, if we want value, and if we realize and recognize how busy and distracted we get with all the apps and all the things, we want reminders. We want people to remember what we're doing,
Mhm.
not just like see us occasionally on Instagram because it just the algorithm decided to show us, but to actually see us and interact with our content. So thinking about that step, like if you have something on YouTube, what is the next step? Where are you
Mhm.
taking people? If you have something on LinkedIn, what is the next step? You know, so it is really, really helpful to think about it. And it does
Mhm.
not have to be perfect, you know, it doesn't have to be like, you know, it can be in the beginning if you do not have the email marketing system set up yet, or if you don't use email marketing service, you can ask people to sign up and get like an automated quiz or something. And that way you will have people's emails and you will ask them later, you know, in the form if they want to receive newsletters. And then you can move them, you know, whenever you get to
Mhm.
it, you can move them to the newsletter. So do not let the lack of tech stop you. You know, it is
Yeah.
possible to figure it out and to think about the next step. You can still do it. So,
Yeah.
and
There's
it's
permission
simple,
marketing too, because
right? Yeah.
I've seen so many people they add me to like a
Hmm.
list. Like I want
Right.
to see
Exactly.
all about like their tutoring services and oh,
Hmm.
maybe if Joanne knows, she'll share it on out with everybody that she knows and they don't even realize that's called spam. That is
Yeah.
not
Right. Hmm.
permission marketing. Like that's the complete opposite. And I think it's easy to not understand. It's like we come into this whole marketing world. There's so many things that we don't know and there's so many mistakes that we make, but we just see
Yeah.
other people doing things and we do what we think the other people are doing, but we actually don't have a clue what it is that we're
Yeah.
doing. So we're making all of these mistakes and then people are getting mad at us and we're like, "Why are
Yeah.
people getting mad at me? I'm just
Yeah.
putting the word out there about my business." And you know, it's okay, you guys. These are the normal stages that everybody goes through. It's the stages of learning, right? And so
Mm.
in the beginning, we're in that unconscious incompetence where we
Incompetence. Yeah.
we
Mm.
think we know what other people are doing, and so then we try to copy them. It would be just as detrimental as if a kid went to go drive a car and they think that all you have to do is turn the wheel and step on the gas, right?
Right.
It's the same exact
Mhm.
problem, right? There's so much more to learn. And then you move into that next stage where you begin to learn, oh, okay, here's how these are all the things that I need
Mm.
to know and I
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you definitely want to think through the steps. And yes, you also want to get people's permission as well to connect with them. And people can choose to opt out as well at any moment, right? People can
Yeah.
unsubscribe or their lives change and they write to you and they say, I don't want to be there. And you might get some people even mad because you're sending emails and they just don't know how to unsubscribe or whatever. So,
They'll ask you and
yes,
then
they
you
will.
just
Yeah,
unsubscribe them. No big
yes,
deal. It's not the
right,
end of the
right,
world.
right. But so the fact that, you know, sometimes you might step on somebody's toes, but yeah, you do want to know that, like, you want to ask for people's permission to send the emails to them. And once you have that permission, you can, and then they can, you know, unsubscribe if they
Mhm.
don't feel like it. But anyway, so that's the content, the three mistakes that I find, and I think it's really helpful for us to remember that even as we put the content out there and we put our face to it and we personalize it, we also want to remember that we are giving value, and the purpose of our business is exchanging value for money. So we want to offer a service. We want to offer and call people to action.
Mhm.
As because if not, I remember being so resentful. I was so afraid to tell people, hey, I have this course or I have this program. And then people would, you know, and people would not signing up because they don't know that I have it. I just expect them to somehow find out by clicking on my website on their own, and
Mhm.
come across it and then say, oh, okay. But I would get so resentful that people were not, but I did not take the courageous step of dealing with my own embarrassment, dealing with my own shame and fear and anxiety, actually saying, hey, I have something of value
Yeah.
and you can participate in it.
Yeah.
So is one of the things that we are to do in the summit. And because I will be using doodles, I'll be sharing this little doodle called the Arena Doodle. And it from Brenda Brown's work, right? She wrote the book Daring Greatly. And she quoted Theodore Roosevelt's speech where he said, the belongs not to the critic, but to the in the arena, right? It's not the critic who counts, but it's you in the arena who even, if you fail while daring greatly. So we're going to be drawing this arena. And I just wanted to show you the doodle. And I will also like talk about the concept of going out there
Mm.
because teachers love staying in the green room and preparing, like
Mm.
working on your website, sorting out your branding colors,
Mhm.
figuring out whatever else. But the learning actually happens in the arena. It's when you take your product or your service and then you deal with the fear and the doubt, the anxiety, the shame, the anger, the resentment, all of these thoughts of, oh, nobody's buying. What's going to happen to me? How am I going to survive? What if nobody's buying? So learning to deal with those thoughts, reframing those thoughts. Oh, people will think I'm salesy. Back into the green room.
Mhm.
So, but yes, that's where you actually learn to sell. When you go into the arena, you make an offer, and you just stay there. Okay. So I will be during the summit on each day, I will be doing it all, and you can watch me do it. You can do it along. I mean, either way, doodling along or just watching somebody, it's really helpful because it breaks down the big concept of putting yourself out there that can feel theoretical, but it really breaks it down small and manageable thing, helps you um, slow down and decide, make your decision. Am I
Mm.
staying in the green room? Am I stepping out? Because that's
Yeah.
where learning is going to happen, not where surrounded with online courses on how to sell, but when you go and sell. Not
Yes.
when you learn to create pretty stuff put on Instagram, but to actually put something out there, deal with how am I going to communicate my message through.
Yes.
So,
Oh my gosh. So you guys, you've got to join this. Like I'm so intrigued of how to use doodling. Like a lot of people have heard about journaling, right? And writing your ideas
mhm,
down and doing that. A lot of people use the strategy, but this doodling idea, you guys, is a whole nother way and taps into a whole nother area of creativity that is going to unearth and help you understand. And then when you see yourself taking certain actions, you're going to be realizing, am I in the green room or am I in the arena? At this
mm,
exact moment in time, where am I? That visual is so powerful for us and is going to help you with taking the next right actions because you guys, this is an unbelievable value for you. I highly suggest you come and join us for this event. It's amazing. There is a link inside of the description, no matter where you are. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're on LinkedIn, if you're inside of the Facebook group, if you're on Twitter, look at the description. I have a link for you guys to come on in and join us on this process of
Mm,
really discovering more about yourself and discovering the powerful ways that you can be communicating. And this isn't about, you guys, Facebook ads. It's not about Google ads and putting all of your money into these things that just drain your bank account. These are tried and true things that work for tutors like us. What do you say to people who, like, they're like, "No, I just wanna try Facebook ads and Google ads," and then they're disappointed when that
mm.
doesn't work out?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Well, sometimes when you try those things, there is a reason behind it. And that's why, like, so helpful. And we're going to look at reasoning, like, why we do certain things, like, what are we afraid of? And usually people run to Facebook ads as the first strategy because it seems safe to
Oh,
them.
yeah.
You're putting yourself out there, and it also feels fast. Not that Facebook ads won't work, they will when you have enough capital to put into them. But in the beginning, you can put that effort into something that actually is going to bring you more return on your investment. Yeah,
Mhm,
and definitely, if you want to just go ahead and purchase the ticket, you already, when you enroll, there's lots of bonuses.
mhm.
And among the bonuses are some of my doodle lessons already, like tiny little 10-minute lessons that you can just sit and doodle. There's also a workshop on financial planning. There is a workbook on letting go of what other people think, because that's like a big thing when you go and share your content online. It's like, oh, what will my grandmother think, or something like
Mhm.
that, right? So that usually prevents people from putting their work out there. So yeah, I will recommend to them to stop looking for quick fixes and to ask yourself, is that a quick fix for me? Is that what I want? Or do I want to commit to taking action consistently until it works?
Yeah.
And so creating your own content, you will not run away from it. You're going to do it anyway.
Right.
Whether it's towards, as you publish or launch your course or maybe your services, you are going to do that anyway. So why not start learning now? Why
Mhm.
not start making marks? That is a mini doodle lesson actually that I have as a bonus called Making Marks. And all we do is open up a sheet of paper, like put it in and just start making marks, because that's how you put your marks out there in the beginning. We so want certainty. But if you get used to the fact that, okay, my first marks are not going to be great, and that's okay,
Mhm.
and I'm going to learn from this. If you
Mhm.
get used to the fact that it's not going to be perfect, you're not guaranteed certainty, you will be able to overcome that and take your power back from perfectionism and fear and quick fixes and magic bullets and all other things. So, yeah,
Yes. I
I
love it.
want to invite you and encourage you. There is so much value there already before the summit even starts, but it starts
Yeah.
next week and it's
Yay.
going to be incredible.
Yay.
And
So what are the
Joanne will be
dates?
there as well.
I will be. What are the dates of the event for everybody?
The dates are May 17th through May 19th, and all of the sessions are pre-recorded. And so every day you can watch them at any time. You can choose which one to watch. We have 4 or 5 a day, depending on the day. And you will also get a live session, which will include the doodle lesson and guided coaching through doodle lesson, and then connecting with other teachers as well. So it's incredible. And if you can't make it to live, there will be a recording, and every person gets lifetime unlimited access. So it's great.
Yep, the cherry on top. I love it. You guys, come join us in this amazing event. What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Just hop on in, join us. It's super simple. It doesn't cost a lot, and you're going to get a ton of value, I promise, from this event. Thanks for joining us today, Elena. I know you've got to
Thank
head
you.
on out, and I've got to head on out, but thank you so much, you guys, for joining us as well. And we hope to see you at the summit. Thanks for joining us, you guys.